Greetings to all my fellow watch enthusiasts on YouTube and Facebook and wherever else this video will be seen and shared. It is Celine Driver once again, bringing you another unboxing and review of a watch that is not mine. This is a review of another Random Rob Toro watch. For those of you who don't know who Random Rob is, he is a YouTuber with a very large footprint, approaching 50,000 subscribers as I make this video on his YouTube channel. He does daily YouTube videos, sometimes multiple unboxings. He does more in-depth reviews. He has a Discord channel. It's a paid membership, but one of the perks of being on his Discord group is Toro watches. These are watches that come into Random Rob. He reviews them, and then he opens up 10 or 12 slots of Discord channel members to be able to get the watch and play with it for a few days. And in the case of other YouTubers like myself, we get content. I got this watch. I'm led to believe this is not the case that it comes in normally because, quite frankly, it doesn't match the aesthetic of the watch, and it's, quite frankly, a bit hideous, but okay, different strokes. But what we have here is a tribute watch of a sort from a company called Yema. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. It's Y-E-M-A. It looks like Yema to me. It's a French company that made watches like this back in the swinging 70s. And in 2020, 2021 timeframe, they came out with a tribute watch. Basically, it's a 70s style LED watch. 70s style case, 70s style watch band, 70s style clasp, and 70s styles display. I mean, if you're as old as I am, and I'm in my mid-50s, and I grew up during the 70s. I was still a kid back then, but I was alive. And I remember these. Well, hell, I remember my dad had a couple of digital watches like this. Not like this, but, LED watches. So the aesthetic is very normal to me. It really is a nice looking watch. I mean, it's large. It's no larger than a typical watch nowadays. I mean, back then, these watches were huge compared to the watches that were being made in the 60s and 70s. And these were the watches, part of what was called back then the Quartz crisis. The Quartz movements came out in the 70s, and they brought a lot of mechanical watchmakers to the brink of bankruptcy, so I'm told. And that's why they call it the Quartz crisis, I'm guessing, because it almost ended some very famous watch companies. But obviously that's all in the past now, and what we have left is some really interesting watches from the 70s and some really interesting tribute watches like this Yema. They are making two versions of this watch. They're making the gold one here. Not real gold, obviously. Only $279. It's not real gold. And a silver one, or a metal finish one, stainless steel. I believe it's about $250. But the gold one is certainly more like the 70s aesthetic with all the gold and the gold chains and all that look from back then. Very interesting watch. Has, obviously, considering the aesthetic and the functionality, it's very limited. You push this button here at the 3 o'clock, or what would be the 3 o'clock on a round dial, and you get the time. And you can see the little dot. Oh, no, it's actually a P, sorry. So it looked like a dot, but now I see it's a P. So you get the time, you press it again, and you get the date, and you press it again, and you get seconds. So you can cycle through. Now, also you have the 4 o'clock button. This cycles through the settings and also through one or two other things. If you hold it, no wait, you have to light it up, and then you can, if it's blinking, you can set it, and then cycle through the minutes and the month, the day, or date, I should say, the year. Yes, it is capable of the year, 12 or 24 hours, and then back to the time again, and then it'll shut off. So it's a very simple watch. I mean, there's no chronograph, there's no countdown timer, no multiple alarms, it's not solar powered, it's not Bluetooth capable. None of those things. It's just a very simple 70s style LED watch. And I can guarantee you, for someone who's relatively uninitiated, if you took this watch and put it next to a similar watch that was actually made in the 70s, and they were both relatively in the same condition, you really couldn't tell the difference between this watch and one that came out in the original runs in the 70s. I'm going to throw this on. I like the way this watch, before I throw it on, I should show you this. I like the way the watch does the sizing, where you can, it's got one of those slidable things where you can just pop that up with like a small tool or a flat blade screwdriver, and you can slide it back and forth. And obviously you can see it's got a lot of room for bigger wrists. When this watch came to me, it actually fit right out of the box, so I didn't have to play with it. And it's just one of those, one of these type of class where it grabs onto that bar. You see those little loops there, grabs onto that bar, and then you just snap it closed. And there you go. And it fits really well. I mean, I have a 7¼ inch wrist, and you can see the overhead shot. It fits very well. It's a little small in size. It's not overwhelming. Good, lug to lug. It's not too big. It's not too thick, so it should slide under a long sleeve shirt. I don't think it's going to slip under a dress cuff very easily, although it might. The facets there might help you out with that. But it's definitely a watch you can wear for business. You could wear it just casually running around doing things. I'm not really sure it's a good sports watch, although it does have a pretty good water resistance rating. And I'll go over all that in a minute. And very comfortable. I was wearing this watch all day yesterday. After it finally arrived, and don't get me started on how the post office screwed that up. This watch was supposed to be delivered a week and a half ago. It just sat. I mean, it got out of Arizona, which is where it came from. The last person on the tour had it. It got out of, I think it was Chandler, and then it disappeared for a week. About a week and a half. And then all of a sudden, it popped up in my city. Nowhere, no updates in the middle, nothing like that. Good job, post office. Yeah, good job, you mother. Anyway, that's what happens when you have a group of people who are not beholden to anyone or accountable to anyone. They can just do whatever the hell they want, and the only way you can fire them is if they commit murder. But end of rant. The watch is here. It wasn't damaged, so happy about all that. And I'm glad it's here. I might. Now, at the end of the tour, usually these watches are put up for sale, on a drawing basis. I might put a bid in on this one. And you know what? If I don't get it, maybe I'll go buy one on my own. But I think I'm going to wait and see if I win this off the tour. And if I don't, I like the way this looks. This might be a fun watch to have in my collection. Might grab one for myself. And of course, I'll leave a link in the description for not only Random Rob's channel, but also to this website so you can buy one. I think you have to buy it directly off the website. I've looked to see if there were other places that were selling it, and there were not. But I have my sheet of facts here so you can learn a little bit more about this. This, as I said before, is the Yema LED Gold. It's French. Part number, if you're interested, is YMHF 1575-1AM. No idea what any of that means, but it was on the website, so I grabbed it. Now remember, this is a tribute watch. It's a tribute to the watches that Yema made back in the 70s. They made digital watches, LED watches. So they decided to make a tribute watch, and here we are. And I showed you the functions of the buttons. If you press once on the middle button, it shows the time. Second press shows month and date. Third press shows the seconds. The lower button is the one that cycles between the setting capabilities, and also shows you the year, which is kind of nice. Believe it or not, even with this push button on the side here, these two push buttons, the watch is rated at 100 meters water resistance. So technically, this is a swimmable watch. I don't know that I would trust that. Getting caught in a rainstorm, the watch gets splashed on when you're washing your hands. I'll go with that. If the company says these pushers are rated for 100 meters of water resistance, okay, we'll go with that. But it's your money. You do what you want. Measurements. The case size at its widest point here is 37.5 millimeters by 42.5 millimeters lug to lug. These are measurements taken off the website. They actually have a schematic drawing on the website that shows this measurement and this measurement and, this measurement. It's really detailed and really, it was very helpful. 10.5 millimeters thick. So like I said, slides under a long sleeve, a jacket, something like that. Might be iffy on a dress cuff, but it might work. And you have a 20 millimeter lug width. So you could put this thing on other kinds of straps or bracelets if you want to, but you know what? I'd leave it alone. This bracelet is the perfect bracelet, the perfect aesthetic for this style of watch. And you don't have to remove any links. You can just slide this thing up and down. So it's really easy to adjust. No jeweler needed. It is plated 316L stainless. We are using a mineral crystal here. And I guess at $279 price point, and given that this is a tribute watch and a mineral crystal would be the proper aesthetic for the watch, I can understand. I would personally charge maybe a few more bucks and put a sapphire on it, but hey, if I want to start my own watch company, I'll start my own watch company. And it uses a proprietary quartz movement. I couldn't find any numbers on it or anything like that. Just on the website, it says proprietary quartz movement. So this is a Yema design movement. Screw down case back. I assume there's a nice battery in there, and it's probably not difficult to change. But I don't want to open it up to find out. So, I don't want to scratch it up. It's a really nice watch. I like this. I really do. I've known some people who do nothing but collect these watches, and they have huge collections of LED watches. And I know one person who lives up in North Florida. Shout out to her if she's listening and watching. She actually restores these things for herself. So that's pretty cool. And I bought a few watches off of her, and then I decided to sell them all back to her. I lost money, but I just wasn't feeling it anymore. This watch I feel, I like this watch. When, like I said, when it gets done with the tour, I may decide to go ahead and try and buy this. And if I don't get it, I might grab one from the Yema site, because it's pretty cool. Anyway, that's all I really have to say about it. It's definitely a recommend from me if you like LED watches and you've been jonesing for a new one instead of spelunking through all the watch sites and eBay and all that, hoping to find a 70s vintage watch that isn't beaten to hell and the LED segments actually work. This is a thing, folks. On those older ones, those little LED segments, they burn out. And finding a 70s era watch with all its LEDs working is, that's a score. So if you want to collect, one of these, and you don't want to take a chance on finding one that works or not, Yema's got you. So recommend. Thumbs up. And speaking of thumbs up, if you liked the video, and I hope you did, please click that thumbs up button. That does help with the channel. The more thumbs up a video gets, the more likes a video gets, the more likely it is that the video will appear in a search. And the more thumbs up a video has in a search, the higher that video appears in the search results. So it helps bring people to the channel. Comments, questions, and suggestions down below. I do read them all. I do respond to them all. However, if you are going to be one of those people who leaves, and people still do this even though I tell them please don't, if you're going to leave links to bad places on the internet, I'm going to delete that comment and I'm going to block the commenter. And people still do this. There are still trolls out there that love to troll channels for no good reason other than maybe mommy didn't bring them their Hot Pocket this morning. And they leave hateful comments and other things. And again, it's very simple. I just delete the comment and I block the commenter. If you're new to the channel, of course, welcome. I am certainly glad you found my channel. I'm glad you're here. Feel free to look around. I have over 400 videos on all kinds of different subjects. Watches, college football, cars, politics, commentary, general observations of life, all kinds of stuff. Feel free to watch as many as you want. I only ask one thing. Before you leave, click that subscribe button. And when you do, click the bell icon so that when I upload new content, you are alerted. And I do live streams. I at least do one live stream a week every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. You'd be alerted to when that starts. I also try and do other live streams during the week as time and opportunity permit. You would be, if you are a subscriber and you click that alert button, bell, you'd be alerted to that too. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Pretty sure you did. Be careful out there. Stay safe, stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you in my next video.